My name is John Tavares. My legal name actually is João Francisco Tavares, but people call me John.
And does that speak of a Portuguese background?
Yes, a lot of the guys I've played with over the years know that on my license and my passport, my name is spelled J-O-A-O, which is pronounced João, so it's John in Portuguese.
Were your parents born here in Canada, or did they come to Canada?
They came to Canada from Portugal with 3 of my siblings. I was the firstborn in Canada.
And did they move to the heart of Toronto to start life in Canada, your parents? Or?
Yeah, I believe they moved in with my aunt for a few months, and then they bought their own house near Bathurst and Queen, near Alexander Park.
You started one of the most unlikely ways at a little program in St. Christopher's house, right?
Yeah, I was very fortunate. At the end of the street I lived on, Ryerson Avenue, there was a park, Alexander Park, that had an outdoor hockey rink, and there was a community center called St. Christopher House. Some people thought it was an orphanage, but it wasn't. And there was a gentleman by the name of Bob Ellis at the time who organized St. Christopher House's lacrosse program. My brother Danny, he was 4 or 5 years older than I am, and he was playing lacrosse, and I used to take his stick when I was about 4 or 5 and bounce the ball off the wall and fell in love with the sport immediately. I spent a lot of hours at that lacrosse box at Alexander Park, bouncing the ball off the wall.
What year do you think that was when you kind of got started at the box?
Well, I was born in 68, so I'm going to guess 72, 73, 74, somewhere in there.
Really young, yeah.
I know my mom tells me, if she didn't know where I was, she just walked to the end of the road and she could hear the ball bouncing off the boards. She knew I was there.
Wow.
So I spent a lot of my summer days at Alexander Park.
Do you remember what your first wooden stick was?
It was my brother's.
Your brother's?
I would like to say that I knew the name of it, but I don't remember. I could just guess. I'll guess an Etienne Martin stick, but I can't remember. Not only fortunate to play for St. Christopher House, but it was very. It was definitely a low-income community, so it was very cheap financially to play lacrosse there. I believe most of the years it cost us $20, and what I'm getting to is they provided all the equipment as well as the sticks. So every year you had to hand your stuff back in and then, collect the next year as well. So I tried to get the same stick every year, just because you get used to obviously the same stick. But my brother, the first stick I ever used was my brother Danny's. I don't know who made it.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. That St. Chris was like an oasis for the game in the heart of Toronto, because there wasn't being played in many. It was Mimico, maybe a bit of Etobicoke, beaches, but right in the heart, heart of Toronto.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are surprised, even to the day, that there was actually a lacrosse team situated in Bathurst and Queen, like you said, right in the heart of the city. Unfortunately, the program is not there any longer. I think they made an attempt to move to West Toronto. I don't know if that still exists or not, but it was just pretty cool being a kid growing up downtown Toronto, playing a game that's not very popular worldwide. I remember just telling people about, played lacrosse, and people are automatically, where'd you start that? And downtown Toronto, and people are very shocked to hear that I grew up playing downtown Toronto, or there was even a program available in downtown Toronto.
So you were downtown. Eventually, did you move to Mississauga? Was that where you?
I did, and I was not looking forward to the move. I remember, I don't remember much, but I do remember the day we had a little patch of lawn on the front part of our house, and I got home one day and I saw a for sale sign. I immediately ripped the sign out. I didn't want to move. I loved growing up downtown. It's all I knew. My friends were there. My main concern was, well, who am I going to play lacrosse for? And I think I was about grade 7, grade 8, so I was about 12, 13 at the time. And we were moving to Mississauga. And I commuted back and forth for that summer to finish my lacrosse season with St. Christopher House, but obviously it was a long commute, taking the Mississauga Transit and the TTC. And I definitely regretted the move at the time, but things happen for a reason. And I was fortunate my parents moved out and just I made me the person who I am now.
Now, I've seen some records of your early times with St. Christopher House team, and you were leading scorer like right away.
Was I?
Yeah, you. Let's see. There was. You had 51 points, and the next guy, Peter Grant, he had 40 points.
I remember Brian Watson, Scotty Watson, Gary Hodge, Ray Colburn.
Isn't that interesting? Huh? Yeah.
Where'd you get this?
That came from an historian by the name of Dennis Keogh.
Yeah, so I was second year. I was a major here.
Attached is a handwritten record of the 1977 or 78 St. Christopher House novice. U11 in today's.
There you go.
Today's parlay.
So I was 10 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do remember having banquets, and there was the awards with some little plaques.
Yeah.
Gosh, I don't know where those are. Or little trophies, and I was so excited to, try to win a trophy like every other kid. So it was always nice to get an MVP award or a leading scorer award. I don't remember, what seasons I got awards, but I did get some in, when I was a major of the team.
Wow.
When I was in the minor, I was just happy to be there and didn't want to get hurt. The only memorabilia I have from St. Christopher House, unfortunately, is a little, the buttons that we used to have. We used to go to C&E and change buttons, and somehow I have one. Yeah. And I don't have any hats or jerseys or shorts, nothing.
Nothing, huh?
Nothing.
Now, did they, at the C&E, were they playing lacrosse at the C&E?
It was outdoor box.
Yeah, I remember seeing pictures of that.
Yeah, we played outdoor box.
And who did you play against? Were they Ontario teams?
Yeah, Ontario teams. It was Ontario. I want to say it was Ontario Games or some exhibition tournament that somebody put on.
Yeah, I do remember seeing black and white photos of those days.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool experience.
Yeah, playing in front. I remember at one point they were trying to think about holding the Mann Cup as part of the CNE, but it didn't come to fruition.
No, it's too
remember
bad.
People talking about that. Get a big audience.
Yeah, it would be nice for the Mann Cup to get more recognition throughout the country. So many people don't know about the game and the history of the Mann Cup and how difficult it is to win a Mann Cup.
That's right. That's right. You've left St. Christopher. You've gone to Mississauga. You play for the Mississauga Arrows?
Tomahawks.
Tomahawks. Mississauga Tomahawks.
Yeah, moved to Mississauga, so I was about 13, 14 years of age. Finished my last season at St. Christopher, like I was saying, commuting on public transportation, and there was just too much for me to continue to do that. So at that time, Mississauga had different parts of Mississauga were amalgamated to make the Mississauga Tomahawks. Like I think there was a Clarkson team, there was a Cawthra team, there was a Lauren Park, I don't know exact, Malton team, and they all amalgamated to make the Mississauga Tomahawks. And decided to play there, and God, I remember some of my friends growing up just, threatening me that they were going to hurt me because I was a traitor. I was like, I got no choice, man. I live in Mississauga. I got to play here now. I can't be, going back and forth, and I don't know what the rules of organizations you have to play with. Obviously, I was in Mississauga boundary, so I didn't even have the choice, but didn't know that at the time. Anyway, I just remember being scared when I had to play against my old friends from downtown, and at the end of the day, they didn't mean any harm. It was just kind of a competitive, intimidating factor. I just remember that. And went on to play Junior B and Junior A in Mississauga after that.
In Mississauga, played both those.
Yeah, and then St. Christopher didn't have a junior program, so it was one year, I think my midget year, where I was, a bit timid playing against St. Christopher House. So.
They threatened you.
A little bit.
You were actually, for the Mississauga Tomahawks, you were the top rookie in the OLA series when you first joined Junior A.
Junior A?
Yeah.
I played 3 years of Junior B. Maybe I got called up to play Junior A for, I want to say Hamilton. I played a game or two for them when I
Okay.
was playing for Junior B. But one of the things I was looking for was, I couldn't find it, I may have lost it, was my first championship ring, which is with Mississauga Tomahawks. It was the Founders Cup that we won in Sackville, Nova Scotia.
Junior B. Yeah.
Yes, and again, I was looking for that ring because that's one of my more memorable championships. This is my first national championship, and I had scored the winning goal.
That must have been quite a trip to Nova Scotia, though.
It was a bus trip.
A bus trip.
Yeah, bus trip was a lot of fun. Yeah, it was one of my first times away from home. And I definitely remember a long bus trip. I remember being there. I remember a couple of the games. It helps that there's some VHS out there that has the recording of a couple of the games.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
After you went through the Tomahawks in Junior A, where did you go after?
I played 3 years of Junior B. We won, I believe, my second year. And then we had a lot of the same guys coming back, and we stayed Junior B. Made the Founders Cup again in Kitchener. We lost in Kitchener. And then after that season, we lost a lot of our veterans. And then we decided to go Junior A. And then we were like bottom of the league.
Sure.
So I don't even know we made the playoffs. I remember playing Junior A for Mississauga, and Peterborough was trying to recruit me to play there. Like try to make a deal for me towards the deadline. And I said, well, my team still has a chance to make the playoffs. I don't think that we did, so I stayed in Mississauga. Plus, I didn't have any way of commuting back and forth to Peterborough from being Mississauga. My parents weren't really going to drive me back and forth. I didn't have a license at the time, so I just stayed put and played my 2 years Junior A Mississauga. And then I actually, let me get my story straight. Then, what year am I in here? Oh my gosh. Did I go to university at the time? Yeah. So I went to university.
Where was
that's
that?
Wilfrid Laurier.
Wilfrid Laurier.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
The Founders Cup, the last one that I was in Kitchener. So it was perfect. I was going to Wilfrid Laurier as a freshman.
Yes.
And we made the Founders Cup that same season, and it was in Kitchener. Perfect. They're both in Kitchener. So I'm not much of a football. I don't have the football physique. I'm not, fast. I just played some high school football in Mississauga at Philip Pocock, the school I attended, and actually the school I teach at still today. Yeah. And I played football. I got recruited by Tom Arnott to play football at Laurier. So I said, why not? So I played some football, and we were doing 2-a-days practices in late August. And they're very grueling practices, very tiring. And some guys can't take it and they just leave, And I didn't know this at the time, but they're called night hawkers, right? We were called, Wilfrid Laurier is the Wilfrid Laurier Hawks, so these guys were night hawks. They just left. So I talked to Coach Newborough, the head coach, and said, hey, I got national championships in Kitchener. I'll be missing 5 days. Is that okay? So I went out to play lacrosse. Unfortunately, hurt my shoulder. Came back to Laurier. People were like, what are you doing here? I thought you quit. I thought you were a night hawker. Even the coach. The coach was like, what are you doing? And I said, well, I told you I was going to be gone for 5 days. He said, no, you told me 1 day. So after the first day, I guess he expected me back. I'm 100% sure that I told him it was 5 days because I knew that we were a competitive team in the Founders Cup and we would be advancing and, definitely more than 1 day, right? So long story short, I got it. We lost the Founders Cup. I hurt my shoulder. I didn't want to come back to Wilfrid Laurier and tell them I hurt my shoulder. So I played literally with one arm, an exhibition game. And I went from possibly starting my first year or dressing my first year, more of dressing the first year, to like the last defensive back.
Yeah.
We had 21, I don't know how I remember that. We had 21 defensive backs, and after that 5-day absence, I became the 21st defensive back, the last one on the depth chart. So that was almost the end of my lacrosse career. So this is getting to this is just getting to this point.
Oh, and this was almost the end of
I
your
was going to
lacrosse
quit lacrosse.
Why?
Well, because there was no future in lacrosse. That's what I thought.
Wow.
At that time, I remember being in grade 12 or 13. I can't remember if I even did grade 13. My last year at high school, a friend of mine was into track, and I was into lacrosse. At that time, Paul and Gary had gotten scholarships, Gary Gate.
Yep.
And I was like, hey, let me see if I can do this. Mind you, I didn't know what field lacrosse was.
Yes.
To be honest with you, I only knew of box lacrosse.
Yes.
So I was playing football, and maybe I should focus my summer months on training, because I was, I think, 160 pounds soaking wet playing football, and I needed to put some weight on. And lacrosse was not going to help me put weight on.
Yeah.
So I thought, all right, I'm going to focus in on training. And this is going into senior A. I'm not going to play senior A lacrosse. And my story's right here. They are right, yeah. I'm just thinking my years. They're right. And so I start, working out, lifting weights, trying to eat as much as I can. And I went to one lacrosse game. I don't know why, but it was in Brooklyn.
In Brooklyn?
Yeah, Brooklyn area. I don't know why I was out there, how I got there, I don't know who was with. Or maybe it was Brooklyn playing, I don't even know. Maybe would they ever play Scarborough? Somewhere it was a lacrosse game. Brooklyn was involved. And I was like, I was about 5 or 6 games into the season, I believe. And when I say the season, I'm talking about the WLA.
Okay.
Because the Vancouver Burrards were trying to get me to play for them.
Yeah.
They offered me a job,
Yep.
accommodations, travel expenses, and I said, no, I'm staying in Ontario. I'm just going to train for football, but thank you. And Mississauga didn't have a senior A team, so all right, this is the end of my lacrosse career. And I watched one lacrosse game. I'm like, I gotta play. So I called Bob Perry back. Bob and I we still communicate. And I said, Bob, is that offer still on the table? He goes, well, and he tried to take some of the stuff off. I was like, well, if that's the case, then I can't go because I don't have any money. But he goes, okay, the offer's still there. So I made my way to Vancouver, and I played a couple of seasons for the Vancouver Burrards. We made the Mann Cup, lost 4 straight to Brooklyn in Brooklyn that year. And,
were the Gate brothers playing for them?
I believe both of them were playing.
In Brooklyn?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
Not at Victoria.
It was in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Okay. And they were both playing. They were a stacked team. And we were the 4th place team in the WLA that season.
Huh.
I don't know what year
you were
that
able
was.
to make it to the final?
Yeah, we upset, I want to say, New Westminster, and we made it to the Mann Cup.
Wow.
And we were ecstatic. We won the WLA championship. And made it out to Brooklyn, and they handed it to us pretty good. They were tough. They had Scotty McMichael, Fusco, the Gates, I believe Peter Park. The list goes on and on. They just dominated most of the games.
Who was their goalie? You remember?
I know my goalie was Dwight Metke.
Oh, Metke. Okay.
That was my goalie.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I'm sorry, I don't remember who that was. And we didn't. The reason I voted is because we didn't get very many goals on them. So the games weren't close. They beat us 4 straight handily. So I don't remember.
Well, at least you got to the show, as they say.
I want to say Rick Mang, but he was a New Westminster goal. I don't know. Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
So that I played 2 years for the Burrards. I believe 2 years.
Did you like it out there?
No, I loved it out there. I didn't want to come back because I loved the West Coast. And
so one thing though, so you left like football up to a certain moment till you saw a game was your future,
Yeah, I'm not
And
even.
then what happened right after that moment when you said, I got to play lacrosse? You just
Yeah.
left it behind?
Yeah, so what you're alluding to is after my junior career, I was going to give up
Yep.
lacrosse to focus on football, a sport that I had no business playing.
Yeah.
No business playing. I just wanted to experience high school football
Yeah.
and just happened to have somebody, interested in me. And like with most things in life, if someone shows interest in you, you feel good about yourself and you want to see, how far you can take that. And, like I said earlier, my physique and my lack of speed is not meant for football. And I loved playing at Laurier. I played 4 years there of football, met a lot of great people. I think it made me a better lacrosse player. Defensively, I played defense. I played free safety for Laurier, and helped me with my physicality in lacrosse.
Okay. Yeah.
And played 2 years in Vancouver, and then I decided to stay home in Ontario. And I was a free agent. I could sign with whoever I wanted, of course. Brampton was the closest organization at the time, and I knew a couple guys that were going to be playing there. Troy Cornley, one of them, and Jim Veltman, another one.
Okay.
And I just went out to talk to the coaches at the time, and Les Wakeling was the coach, and I really liked what he had to say. And I was unsure of wanting to play for Brampton because the people that were in part of the Mississauga organization were saying, whatever you do, don't play for Brampton. But whatever animosity there, I don't even know the history, so I just had that in my mind. But, I decided to play for Brampton. We went on to win 2 Mann Cups, consecutive Mann Cups there. Okay,
92
the
and
dates
93.
are coming now.
92 and 93.
Yes, the dates are starting to come because I can associate that. Right, so the first Mann Cup I made was in the 1990. Okay, so 1992, 93, we won the Mann Cup in Brampton. The 92 Mann Cup was won on Troy Cornley's overtime goal with the floor was covered with roslyn because of all the humidity that was in the building.
Yeah.
I played 2 years with Brampton. I'm not sure what happened, but all of a sudden the team, the word was that, the people in charge of the team, the executives of the team, wanted some change. And we were winning. We were like dominant. We had everything, like toughness, goaltending, transition, defense, goal scorers. And, unfortunately, that team broke up, and there was a lot of movement over to Six Nations.
Oh.
Yeah, including our coach, and I think that's what it was. I think the executive wanted to get rid of the coach, Les Wakeling.
Oh, okay.
And we loved Les Wakeling, and we didn't understand why they were getting rid of him. And Les moved over to Six Nations, and somehow we were included in this deal. Somehow, about I'm gonna say 3 to 4, 5, 6 guys. Darius Kilgore, myself, Rich Kilgore, Troy Corley, all went over to Six Nations. Bill Gary, a goalie, and we kind of took the core of that group and moved it over to Six Nations, and we went on to win the next 3 Mann Cups as well.
Now, they had just built that new facility there. That's the Iroquois Arena.
No, we did not play out of that
You
facility.
didn't play in that
we
one,
played out of the Brantford, I want to say.
Oh, okay. Over
Civic
in
Center.
Brantford.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we played out of Brantford.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember when that one came in. Actually, it's been around for a while.
I don't know the ILA you're talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah,
we
yeah.
play there now.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know when that was built.
Yeah, that made a huge difference for everything there, because being right there for their people. And
So at that time in my career, I thought the Mann Cup was easy to win. We won 5 in a row. But yeah.
wow.
So I went. I think you were asking where did I go after junior. I went 2 years to Vancouver Birds. Came back home, played 2 years for Brampton.
Yep.
I don't know how many years I played for Six Nations, but we won.
1994 through 96, you were with the Chiefs.
Is that
Six
4
Nation
seasons?
Chiefs. 94, 95. 93, that'd be 3
No,
there.
I played more.
Played more than that. Okay, but those were 3 Mann Cups.
Yeah, I won 3 Mann Cups with
Yeah.
the Chiefs, but then the team broke up, and we weren't very strong for at least a year or two.
Oh, okay.
And then I got traded, or I don't know, bought by Akwesasne.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I went to
Okay.
play. I played a lot of years in Akwesasne.
Yeah, how did you like it out there?
I loved it out there.
Yeah.
You know, unfortunately, I didn't meet the goal that I wanted, was to win the first Mann Cup for Akwesasne, and I tried my best, but you can't win the Mann Cup on your own. And you know, we had great players, but the commute, you know, just not having guys closer together practicing and just being on the same page, you know, didn't help. But a lot of great people, a lot of great lacrosse players from Akwesasne, and unfortunately, it's one of the teams I didn't win the Mann Cup with. And,
so who were some of the Indigenous players out there on the Akwesasne team that you remember?
Billy Whitty Mitchell, Clayton Barnes, Brandon Francis,
okay,
Mike Benedict.
Mike Benedict, yeah.
What's his name? Butter is his nickname. I can't remember his name. Butter. Oh, come on, what's Butter's name?
Some of the great nicknames in sport, like.
Yeah, there's some really good players. What's a tough guy's name?
Now, Owen Benedict played out there?
Yeah, Owen played.
Yeah, Owen played, and then...
no, sorry, Mike Benedict.
And Mike.
Wait,
yeah,
who's the
Mike.
younger one? Mike.
Well, Mike.
I think I said Mike, didn't I?
There's Benny Benedict, there's
Mike,
Owen Benedict,
Mike.
and Mike
But
Benedict.
Owen, did he have an older brother that played? I can't remember.
I can't remember their order of age.
Yeah, well, Mike, I think Mike Benedict is the guy that I played there with.
Okay,
yeah.
Mike, yeah. But so they had, how many
And we
years?
had Mike Thompson in that.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many years did Akwesasne have a major team? Like they usually play senior B, right? Generally?
Yeah, they moved up to senior A. I'm going to say at least 5.
Really?
At least 5 years.
Okay.
At least, because I played there for at least 5 years.
Oh, you did? Wow.
Yeah.
And you commuted that whole time? And
That's a long commute. I commuted, like, we had usually double headers, so we were usually 2 games in Akwesasne, like a Saturday night and then a Sunday matinee, whether you're home or away.
okay.
Yeah.
So,
So 2 games in Akwesasne, and then you go somewhere else and play 2 games.
so did you get to go to some of the stick making factories and stuff
I
like that?
became good friends with Mark Mitchell,
Yes.
Mohawk Lacrosse.
Yes.
And Mark's a wonderful guy, loves the game, gives so much to the game, and you know, I used Mark's sticks, the Mohawk sticks that he made. He was, I think, the first native to make a plastic stick.
Okay.
But he's made beautiful wood sticks as well.
Yeah.
And I loved using wood sticks. I used wood sticks as long as I could. But then it just became easier to use a plastic stick. Just, you know, just limited breaking sticks and working in a stick.
Yes.
And,
yes.
you
There's
know.
benefits to the
Yeah.
plastic.
But yeah.
What year did you change to plastic? You know.
I do not know what year, but I started playing professional lacrosse in 1992 for Buffalo,
Okay.
because that was their first year.
Yeah.
That's why I remember that.
Yeah.
And it was mandated that you have to use a sponsored stick. So if Brine was a sponsor, you had to use a Brine stick. If, you know, STX,
Okay. So in '92.
whatever the stick. So it was, yeah, but just in the winter.
Just the way you
Yeah.
use wood in the.
Then I'd come back and use a wood stick in the summer.
Really?
So when I played for Brampton in '92, we won the Mann Cup, I was using a wood stick.
What
I hated the plastic stick.
you did. You hated it.
Hated it. I had to use it, and I struggled.
Pro League.
I struggled with the plastic head. '92, I used it. Then I played for Brampton in '92. I used a wood stick. Then I went to Buffalo '93. Used a plastic stick. I want to say I used a wood stick in '93 as well in the summer. I used it as long as I could.
Yeah.
And then I remember my stick broke,
Yeah.
and it was just, I got tired of trying to go back and forth from a plastic stick in the winter
not many
and a
people
wood
would
stick
do-
in the
yeah.
summer. And I just gave in to using a plastic stick full time.
You accepted the dark side.
I did. Regrettably, I did. But I love the wood stick, how it feels in my hand and how the ball feels in. I just had a better feel for the game with the wood stick in my hand.
Huh.
And you know, you just get used to something, and I grew up my entire life playing with a wood stick, and now you're throwing me a plastic stick, and I have to use it. So it was something I struggled with, and you know, like most lacrosse players, especially if you play a lot of offense, you know, the stick is very important to you, and like having, the feeling of that ball coming out, regardless of what you're doing, whether you're shooting your hardest shot or you're trying to finesse and fake around the net or making a long pass down the floor or going in for a loose ball. Like I said earlier, I spend a lot of time at the lacrosse box with my wood stick, and to say, hey, use this plastic stick, I didn't like it. I didn't feel the ball coming out of it. I didn't know how to adjust the sticks, and I liked having a catgut. I like having my catgut shooting string at the top, and I like 3 or 4 shooting strings, and just playing with it. Doing braiding the strings from the pocket. Just I don't know. It felt like it was a part of me.
More alive.
Where the plastic doesn't feel like it's alive or a part of me. I made it a part of me eventually because I had to, but it was a tough breakup with my wood stick. I fought with that moment in my life. It sounds so dramatic, but lacrosse is a big part of my life.
It's a huge moment to a lacrosse person.
It was for me. Yeah.
So you were 8 times a major scoring champion. You're an all-time leading scorer in the NLL in games played. Like, how do you think?
I'm not the leading games played anymore.
Not anymore? Okay, but you had that at one point.
Yeah.
And why do you think you were good at scoring? Like, why? Like, was it just something that was innate in you that you didn't even have to think about it, or did you really have to work at it to become a scorer? Or
I don't know. It's a tough question to answer. Why was I good at it? I think because I was confident, I practiced a lot, and I think I just kept it simple. I didn't overthink scoring. That old saying, the stick has eyes. I understand the geometry behind that all I have to do is get my stick around the goalie and it sees a lot of net. And when I teach younger people, especially my son, of course I'm going to teach them that. Like, you don't have to see the net, your stick can see the net. Growing up, I scored a lot of inside goals, in front of the net, or a lot of quick sticks early in my career. And then I had to, when you say, how was I so successful, is I had to change my game. Like, at one point I think people were allowing me to take outside shots because I very rarely scored from the outside, so I had to develop an outside shot. So I was always kind of just reinventing myself, reinventing different angles that you can score from, or releasing the ball from your stick. Just kind of always changing and trying to always improve and not being satisfied with what I've done. So I think that's not only made me a good goal scorer, but I think it helped my longevity in the sport of lacrosse.
There's a shot, score! JT! There's a shot, score!
So when you shot on net, was your ball always going to the same spot that worked for you generally, or did you really vary where you put the ball?
I think I'd like to say I'd vary where to put the ball. And you have moments or parts of the season that you fall in love with certain shots, and you fall in love with them because they're working. Trust me, I had many games where I would just shoot and hope it went in. Usually those hit the goalie in the chest. I like to call those, hope shots. And, I can see them today when people are struggling, you're just hoping it goes in, right? But, when you're on, you're on. And your stick is, if I can shoot an overhand shot across the body of the goalie, short side, down low, not many goalies are saving that, right? Or if I can throw a sidearm across the goalie's body in the top corner, usually the goalie is going to be going the wrong way. But the goalies learned my tendencies. They started watching video, and then the goalies knew what I was doing. Then I got to change it up. So now I got to learn how to score far side. I never really scored far side from the outside, and I had to learn how to do that.
Did you shoot over the shoulder a lot?
No, I kept it simple.
Kept it simple.
I have some, over the shoulder goals, not a lot. I only took those if I had to. If I was on my wrong side, bad angle, shot clock slow,
Yeah, just get rid of the ball.
Yes. Yeah, I don't think. I think some people may look at me as someone who scored a lot of like fancy or backhand goals or highlight reel goals. I don't think I don't remember many of them. Like, I have some where not a, I don't know what you call it, but not a backhand, but like where I'm a lefty and you come across and then you just like a back shot. I used to do that coming down my wrong side. I did that quite a bit. That was like for me a fancy goal where I would dive in pro league, and the diving, it just, you know, exaggerates the stick has eyes concept because you're just diving past the goalie and reaching around the goalie.
Yeah, you have more area to shoot at.
But in terms of backhand, you know, for some reason I remember taking a backhand shot when I was in minor lacrosse for St. Christopher House, with a wood stick of course, from the top of the power play, and just, I don't know why I threw a backhand, it was just a prayer, and it went in. So I remember that one, but I don't remember many other backhand goals. I'm sure I have a couple, but you know, not a lot.
That wasn't your go-to.
It wasn't, no.
Now you've pretty well been inducted into every Hall of Fame possible. You know, you Ontario Lacrosse Hall of Fame this year, Canadian Lacrosse Hall of Fame this year. You've been in the Ontario Sports Hall of Fame, I think.
Yes, this year.
But you know, 2022, you're inducted into Canadian Sports Hall of Fame, which is not that many lacrosse guys in there. I can think of like 5 or so, you know, that have gone in there. What was that like when you?
I was very overwhelmed with it. I'm very proud, you know, from myself and my family. It was nice to be recognized, not just me, but like you said, there's not many lacrosse people in the Canadian Sports Hall of Fame. So it was nice to be inducted, obviously, personally, but also to represent the game that I love. And being inducted into the Canadian Sports Hall of Fame last year and this year the Ontario Sports Hall of Fame, you know, gives the sport some recognition. So hopefully, you know, more athletes that play lacrosse can be recognized like I was this year, because there's, you know, athletes that deserve to be, lacrosse players that deserve to be in these Hall of Fames that, you know, we don't get we're not as popular as hockey or basketball or baseball or football. So you don't hear as many players going in, but you know, guys are equally as athletic and equally as successful. We just don't make as much money, and we're not on TV as much. So it's nice to be recognized, and I hope there's many more lacrosse players that have the opportunity to be recognized in the Canadian Sports Hall of Fame.
Now tell me, were you ever injured badly in this game?
No.
No.
No, very rarely I was injured. I was very fortunate to play as many years as I have without being seriously injured. So I didn't miss many games until later in my career. I had some calf issues, which I would have never thought that would happen. I have the smallest calves in the world, so I was just getting little micro tears that prevented me from running at full speed. And that eventually ended my career, because it was like the last 5 or 6 years that I was playing that I had calf issues. I did partially tear one of my ligaments in my knee, but I think maybe I missed one weekend. This was during pro lacrosse. I missed one game, you know, maybe some hamstring tightness or pull a hammy. But besides that, my shoulder and Founders Cup, that still affected me, but you know, I found a way to play through it.
What was your treatment for that, you know, during that time, that last 5 years? How did you keep yourself going? Was there ice, or was it, you know, what did you use on that?
This was towards the end of my career in Buffalo. What year are we in now? 2000.
Well, I'm thinking near the last 5
This
years.
is like 2015.
Yeah.
Around that. It's like 2000, let's say 12 to 15.
Yeah.
And definitely like rest.
Just rest.
Yeah, not just rest, but definitely like staying off of them. And you know, it's hard to stay in shape when you have to stay off your legs.
Yeah.
But like, you know, acupuncture.
Acupuncture.
Yeah, some acupuncture and heat. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
That kept you going.
Well, it tried to get me, you know, to recover, but I don't remember what else I did. A lot of acupuncture. I did try PRP.
PRP.
Yeah, it's what is it? Plasma. They take your blood and they shake it around and use the plasma in there they re-inject it.
Is that right?
Yeah, you never heard of PRP?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
well, I maybe in the Olympics I've heard of that.
Yeah.
That
So,
kind of thing,
but I don't think that helped me very much. Yeah. I
No,
think it's
that's
more
interesting.
for joints, and this was my calf, so I tried that. It didn't do much for me.
Yeah. You stayed with the Bandits the whole time.
Yep.
Yeah. You're a loyal person, obviously.
Well, I mean, professionally, but if you look at my summer lacrosse, I was
All over.
well, Vancouver, Six Nations. No, Vancouver, Brampton, Six Nations, Akwesasne. In between there, Victoria, Peterborough. 6 teams.
Yeah.
Between WLA and OLA.
You got to see a lot.
6, but professionally I played with 1 team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And why did you stay with the Bandits?
Well,
they had huge crowds, I know.
One, when I started playing for Buffalo, I got drafted by Detroit. Detroit's too far. I'm not traveling to Detroit. Buffalo just started the team, and they made a quick trade for me, and it wasn't a big deal. Buffalo was the closest venue for me to participate in if I wanted to work full time and play lacrosse. That was the most convenient geographically. So that's one reason that's how I got there. I would love to say that I had opportunities or offers to play somewhere else and I denied them all, but free agency was very difficult to come by in professional lacrosse. So I had no choice.
So if Detroit didn't trade you, wouldn't have played?
I don't know.
You don't know. Yeah.
I don't know.
You
I
kind of
wasn't
made it
driving
clear to
there
them
by
you weren't
myself.
very happy.
No, I wasn't. I didn't say anything to anybody.
Oh.
No, I don't remember what happened. It wasn't like I'm not going there. It was more of, oh, that's unfortunate. I'm all the way out there. And then Buffalo started the team, and they quickly just made a trade.
Okay.
I don't know if it was to help me out. It was just happened that way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who was the
Brian
head
Nickett.
coach in the early
Sorry,
days?
I thought you were going to ask my trade. The trade was Brian Nickett for myself, and then Buffer McCready was the first head coach in Buffalo, and Les Bartley
Les
was.
came on. Yeah.
But Les was just kind of there. I don't know if he was an assistant coach, but he was there helping out.
Yeah.
And then we went 0-3. That's to start our season, our inaugural season in '92, and they replaced Buffer with Les. And then we started winning games.
Yeah.
And I think was, not to take away from Les by any means. Buffer was a great coach. Les was a great coach. I think it was just adjusting to the different rules and the officiating, and because we were literally an all-star team from Canada, predominantly Ontario, playing against a lot of field lacrosse players with sprinkles of some box players.
Right.
So we had the advantage that way.
Yes. You played for Canada on a couple occasions. Mm-hmm. So what was that like for you? 2003, the first World Indoor Lacrosse Championships.
My first experience with international was field lacrosse.
Oh, okay. And where was that?
My first experience was trying out for the team in Vail, Colorado. I was representing the Eastern team, and there was East and West. That was my introduction to field lacrosse. That was quite the experience. It was a totally different game for me.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I didn't feel like I was very good at it. I did make the team. Fortunately, I believe it's 99 makes sense. I don't know. England in Manchester, England.
Okay.
It was my first experience playing international field lacrosse.
How did you like that? Like the whole different feel to it?
It was a different game. Yeah. I didn't know how to switch hands. I didn't know how to play with one hand. I didn't know the intricacies of the game. I didn't know a lot of things. So I was very conservative. I just focused on, ground balls, playing good defense, and shooting the ball, when I had an opportunity. I didn't force anything. So just kept it very simple. And I felt a little bit lost out there for sure.
The field game's a different game.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was my first experience, and I did that. I believe I played on 3 different field lacrosse teams. So it was England, and then Australia, and then Maryland.
Okay. Yeah. And then you played for the World Indoor Lacrosse or World Box. Like you played.
Yeah. You're gonna have to remind me.
Well, 2003 was here in Ontario.
So that was
played
in
in 4
Mississauga.
different sites.
It was Mississauga.
One of the sites was Mississauga.
Yeah, I remember that one.
You played in
Hamilton.
Oshawa, Kitchener, and Hamilton.
Was that the same year?
Yeah, they moved the field around.
Was that the only World Lacrosse box lacrosse team? Was that the only box lacrosse that I played for Team Canada? Was that one year?
No, in 2007 you played Nova Scotia, Halifax.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
Yeah, I got hurt. Yeah, okay, I remember that. Yeah.
So
What year was that?
2007.
Yeah,
in
that's right.
Halifax.
So I only played box lacrosse for Team Canada twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you think of that experience?
That was a much better experience because I felt like I was in my element. I felt, like I like to feel like I played the game as a complete player. I grew up playing, with lines, not offense, defense. So I really liked playing. I really liked it when we played in Ontario, and I think I was at the peak of my career in terms of my ability to play defense, transition, and offense, power play, man down, and I loved it. I thought this is great. I was disappointed that there was so, there was minimal support, from people watching the game. I thought, man, I remember because I live in Mississauga, and I remember there was a game in Mississauga and in Hamilton too, and it just kind of felt like there could be more people that would really appreciate this game if they just gave it a chance. But the experience was still great to represent your country. We won that year, and playing with the best players in Canada is always special.
Yeah. Well, when you left being a player and you started coaching after a little while, and how's that for you?
I think it was about 45, 46, and Troy Cornley was the head coach of the Buffalo Bandits, and I played for Troy my last year. And he gave me a call after the season. We didn't have the best season in Buffalo that year. And he wanted to talk to me after the season, which is the first time a coach ever wanted to get together and talk to me. So I knew something was up. And, he wanted to ask me, instead of playing the following year, that maybe I coach the offense. And I said, yes, please. I'm ready. I was ready like 3 or 4 years before I retired. But, it's hard to give up something that you've played your most part of your life and that you enjoy doing it. And like I said, I was going through some calf issues and I couldn't perform. And, just felt like I spent more time, trying to be healthy than preparing for the game itself. But Troy asked me to be the coach, and, whether I was ready to be a coach or not, it was a nice segue into coaching from, being a player. And, I've learned a lot from that first year, but I was glad to still be a part of it. Just being with the guys, you still travel the team. I'm definitely a very competitive person. I was as a player, and I still as a coach. And, like I played the game of lacrosse, I'd like to say I played as a good team player, and I'd like to say that I coach as a team coach as well. Like, I know that, I don't have all the answers. I didn't as a player, and it's nice to hear everybody's opinion. I'm just now that guy that makes the final decision, and I love coaching. I've been fortunate, as you said earlier, to be with one team, and I'm still with that same team since 1992. So I never left. I played. I transitioned into a coach the following year after I retired, and I've been there since. Wow. I went from the offensive coach to a co-head coach to the head coach.
And what happened this past season with Buffalo?
This past season, we won our second championship back-to-back.
Wow.
Yes, I'm proud of that, but I don't know why I'm like this, but my brain doesn't let go of things. We've made the championship 4 years in a row, so we lost 2 before that, right? So it says a lot about our team and the players and our organization to make the championship 4 years in a row. I think is a very astonishing feat in itself. 100%. I'm so happy we won the last 2 years. I know, like the Buffalo Bills, I think they made, like in the football, they made the Super Bowl 4 straight. Yeah. So I'm glad, that we won 2 years ago, and then we confirmed that, we were a strong team last year again by making it and winning it back-to-back. And that was special to win that back-to-back with those guys. A lot of those guys work so hard out there and, give up a lot of time with their family and friends and dedicate their entire, I'm going to say 7 months of the year to the Buffalo Bandits.
When you win in Buffalo, do they have a get-together with the fans or anything afterwards? Or
we had both years. We had a bit of a parade
Yeah?
Yeah, we have a nice outdoor, right outside the arena, just like they built a little stage there. And 2 years ago when we won the championship, we had a little parade, and I'm going to say there was 5,000 to 10,000 people on the
Wow.
streets. Yeah, it's not the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
it's not the Stanley Cup, but to have all those fans come out and support you, the little parade and the get together outside the arena, it's great to see. And we have, I'm sure everybody says that, but we have great fans, the best fans in the National Lacrosse League, and they've supported us for over 25 years.
Yeah, well, in Buffalo, they really take pride in their local teams.
They do, and I get it. We're not the NHL, we're not the NFL, we're not Major League Baseball, but we have a great product, equally as good, if not better, than the 3 leagues that I talked about. It's just not as popular yet. And the fans in Buffalo, they don't care. They see us as a great entertainment. Guys work hard out there, and we're successful, and the fans appreciate that, and the fans help us with our success.
John, how have you earned your living outside of the pro lacrosse?
I'm a high school teacher. I teach mathematics at Philip Holcott Catholic High School, and I've been fortunate to have a great family job. I have 2 kids. My son Justin, he's 18 years old. He plays Mimico Junior A. He goes to Deerfield Academy Prep School in Massachusetts. He plays hockey there and field lacrosse. My daughter Brianne plays for the Mimico as well, and she'll be attending the Hill Academy next year in Orangeville for lacrosse. And I coach the Buffalo Bandits. I coach the Six Nations Chiefs, and that's pretty much been my life for the last 30 years. And spent a lot of time driving to Buffalo, driving to Ontario, throughout Ontario, to a lot of lacrosse games. But I live a very simple but busy life, and I have a very supporting wife, Katrina. Without her, I don't think I would have played as long as I've played or coached as many teams that I coach.
Is there anything else in the game that you'd like to do before you're done with this game?
Well, I mean, when you ask that question, I think, selfishly, I think about winning, and I wouldn't want to share, what my goals are for winning, because it would sound selfish, I guess. But like every coach, every team, always their goal is to win the championship, right? Right now we've won. Like last year, we won the championship. I want to say, I want to win back to back. That'd be like saying here, I want a three-peat. Well, of course I do, but I know it's not easy, and it's going to be a hard task. But my goal is, as a coach now, is to win and develop people into good teammates, and not necessarily you're going to win all the time. We're not, obviously, but develop good people and good teammates. I think it's important to be a better team player than someone who's just concerned about their own stats.
John, is there anything else you want to talk about?
I had the opportunity to play with a lot of great lacrosse players, like me and myself, and I have a 18-year-old son who plays junior A lacrosse now. He plays box lacrosse, and he plays a Deerfield field lacrosse and ice hockey. Yeah, and you can be as good as you want to be. Like, it's all a mindset, and if I look at myself now, I'm 100, about 80, 85 pounds, and I was never big as a player, never fast as a player. I look at myself now and think, wow, how did I play that game? Like, the game of lacrosse, it's so challenging and difficult to be successful. And I see these guys are phenomenal athletes today. We got, on Buffalo, I'll just talk about Buffalo for now. We have guys like Dane Smith and Josh Byrne, 2 great lacrosse players, very athletic, very fit. I was like, I don't know that I can play and be successful like I was, and like with every game, it evolves, it gets better.
Yeah.
And I definitely see the evolution of the game, and it's moving in the right direction. I come from an era where, guys would smoke in between periods at Brampton Memorial Arena in the 90s to, guys' eating habits and the physiotherapy they get, the training they get, all this knowledge they have about being fit, and it's overwhelming. Having video available to recruit and become a better player. There's so much available, and what you do with it, it's how far you want to take it. Like I'm trying to tell my son right now that, it's like, what do you want to do with the game? Like, what do you believe you can do? Like it's a matter of believing in yourself and working for it. You can't just want it. You got to work for it, and you got to pay the price, right? Both on and off the floor, and that's how I looked at it. And like when I'm in a game, like I can never run past you, I can never run through you. I need to use my teammates that are on the floor.
Yeah.
So I need to use my team. Like, team together, everyone achieves more.
Yeah.
And I was a guy that needed my teammates. I'm nothing. I would have been nothing without my teammates. All the championships, all the accolades that you talked about and you brought up and reminded me, they're not done on my own. And I'm fortunate to play with people like Jim Veltman, Troy Cornley, Darius Kilgore. I know there's a lot of people out there that I'm, not naming, but I played so long. And I remember, I won't mention names, but I played crease a lot on the power play, and I gave up a lot of shots. And somebody once, a really good player, said to me, "Why don't you shoot more often?" And I said, well, because if I shoot every time, they're going to expect it, and the guy's going to barrel down on me and take my head off every single time if he knows that I'm going to shoot. So if I pass it and pass it and pass it, then when I want to shoot, I know I'm going to have a lot of time. And I'm showing, faith in my teammates that I believe in them, that they can shoot and score too. Yeah, but your shooting percentage is better than them. Well, that's because I try to take a quality shot. Trust me, I've taken a lot of bad shots in my life, I get it, but I try to use my teammates as best as I can. And, I love the game of lacrosse, and I love that it's growing, and I just wish more people followed it. I'm tired of hearing, every time I bring somebody out, they want to come back and watch, right? It's true, but you need the league to sell the sport. You need to be on television. You need to be popular, and the way to get popular is to be on TV. It's just a hard way to get the respect of everybody to become that next major league sport. Yeah. And I think we're on our way. We just got to keep it escalating. I think, when I think of my lacrosse experience from St. Christopher all the way to Buffalo, I think of it as a roller coaster in terms of popularity. It's always up and down, up and down. I think right now it's on the rise, and whether it's field, box, sixes, women's lacrosse, we got to keep going and keep the sport relevant and make it as popular as it should be.